Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you from Huệ Mountain Temple. Today is our Dharma talk for the Sunday Pureland Assembly. Thank you all for joining us. As promised, we just came back from Korea, so I'd like to give you a brief report on our experience in K-Land. Thank you. Okay, the slides are ready. So the past about 3-4 weeks, we went to Korea, and for work, as usual. Every year we go there twice for about a month or so. So this is when we arrived at Incheon International Airport. I went there with the abbot here of WMT, Venerable Xian Xin, and our old abbot was there in Korea, the Venerable XC. He's actually, great news is that he's very good health, and a lot of our Korean Sanghans came to greet me at the airport. When we arrived, it's about 10 a.m. in the morning. Okay, and we went back to our way place in Bundang, which is about half an hour from Seoul. Seoul is very expensive, so and Bundang is an up-and-coming suburb of Seoul, and where is this? This is JMT? Oh, okay. Okay. And the Korean operations is very important for us, because if you notice on these photos here, there's a lot of Korean Sanghans actually outnumber here. The Sanghans there, they outnumber the Sanghans here in the U.S. And we went to our leased location at Jewel Mountain Temple for lunch. This is our Sangha here. You notice some of the people here, and we have lunch with some lay people there. This is our chef, the so-called chef of Jewel Conch, and these two ladies here, I believe, are in waiting. They're join our temples, waiting for the chance to lead the home life. And the people in Korea are very, very special. We have a lot of young people who come to the temple to cultivate, and we're proud of the fact that many of our Sanghans are homegrown, meaning they started as lay people and they decided to lead the home life themselves. Okay, and the Koreans, they are very elaborate. It's not clear here, but it's a lot of small dishes. It's just so much work. Okay. Feel free, Xin, to make any comments. I don't know all these photos. Okay. You recognize anything you'd like to add to this? Okay. Anyone? ask any questions or make any comments. Okay, and then we also paid a visit to one of our Dharma friends, an abbot, who is a disciple, abbot of the temple. He's a disciple of Master YongHua, who is the late Master YongHua, who is a second ground Bodhisattva, who is the one who advocated reciting the Buddha's name in Pureland. When at the time when Korea Buddhism is basically Hua-to, they practice this specialized chant technique called Hua-to. They seem to be very high on that. So Master YongHua, at his time, he advocated reciting Buddha's name, and he had quite a good followings. And this is Master YongHua Sunim. He is a disciple of Master YongHua, and currently an abbot of one of his temples. And so we came to pay him a visit. I brought all our sanghas there in Korea, and because my purpose is to expose them to a virtuous monk. I really like him. He's a very sincere cultivator, very devoted and loyal to his master. Okay, and so we had lunch there, and as usual, wherever I went in Pureland, a lot of people followed me, and so we went there for lunch. And with so many of us that typically the previous time he would bring us, our sanghas, into the eating area for the sangha of the temple. But since there's too many of us, we had to eat outside. And after that, he brought us back to his room, and he gave us tea, served us tea. Pu'er tea, very expensive Chinese tea, very special tea that's 50 years old. And so it's funny for me personally, I didn't know about pu'er tea until I became a monk, and not until I went to Korea, because the Koreans are very high on tea, the tea culture. And so for him, he's kind of interesting. He serves great tea to his guests. So he says, this kind of tea here, it's a special tea that he usually saves it for the big shots. And for some reason, he chose to serve it to us. And so you see all these young sanghas, most of them are young and new to Buddhism, and yet they get to drink the fancy tea already. Okay, and this is one of the relics that the old abbot gave to YongHua Sunim, and purple, big relic, and some of the photos of his temple here, and this is his Buddha hall, and as typical in the Korean tradition, the abbots greet each other in the Buddha hall here, or in proper places, where we would bow to each other. Okay. And very typical of YongHua Sunim, wherever he goes, he does a lot of remodeling or additions to the temple. That's how these monks create blessings for themselves. By adding to Buddhism instead of taking. So he remodeled an area of the temple where he fixed the roof. This is, I believe, a copper roof, right? This is made of copper, okay? And by the time it gets older, it has a very beautiful patina that looks like dark brown, okay? But here, this is a Wanyin and Earth-Store Bodhisattva worship area where you can sponsor I believe 1,000 statues, Am I correct? So it's quite nice. So this is made of granite here. This is out in the open. And so they're in the process of remodeling it. And it's not clear here, but here there's a worker who's actually doing the hand painting of the roof. Okay, so it's quite expensive in terms of labor, in terms of decorations. Okay, this is a one-year statue. So we took the opportunity to also sponsor a statue on behalf of BLI Korea. And he showed us a difference between in the workmanship. It's not that clear to you here, but it's from two different sources. And this one here is the one at his temple. He chose this craftsman over the other one because the finish is so much better, so much more refined. This is gold. I think this is gilded. Okay, It's nicely done. And then also part of our work is we decided this time to go out and instead of organizing Dharma assemblies at our way place, we went to the Grand Buddha Hall of the Korean Bhikshuni Association. This is this is very adorned and beautiful Buddha Hall, which is unusual for Korea because in K-land, the Buddha halls are sort of tiny. They restrict themselves to about 108 pyong, which is how many meters, how many square feet? Do you know? It's rather small, but this is by the tradition. 108 represents 108 afflictions, whatever. Okay, and so it's a tiny area, and it's not suitable for the Great Assembly Dharma. So we prefer to go to bigger places. So you see, this is a very adorned Buddha hall that used to be reserved for the nuns only. And they decided to open it up for other uses. So we took the opportunity and rented this hall for about half a day or so. And it's a huge area. Let me see. It's about, I'd say about 3 times as big as this one here, our Buddha hall here. I would say 3 times as big as this our Buddha hall. So it's large for Korean standards. And of course, all our Sangha showed up. 70-80% of the attendants are our regulars. Therefore, they're just too many for our Jewel Conch Buddha Hall. And then there's some newcomers as well. So overall, it's about over 100 people, I'd say. 120 people so were attending. And so we did one day on Chan, and true to our calling, we do one day of Chan practice and one day of Pureland practice. And they're getting ready here for the audio and video and so forth. The internet was not that good at that place, and therefore we recorded it and transmitted, uploaded to the YouTube later. And this is the next day, the Pureland Dharma Assembly. You have here, I asked the Master XX to do the Weino in Chinese, and the rest of them recited in Korean. And here, Venerable XF, who will be coming next to the U.S. soon, who hit the woodfish. One thing I noticed, which is quite nice about the Koreans' culture, is that most of them can chant very well. They're very musical as a group of people, and they chant real well. They can keep a beat, and so they're very good with ceremonies. I'm impressed. So this is a Bhikshuni Association. It's so adorned that it's so nice. All right. And this is the first day Son was Chan. There's a slightly more people during the China Assembly than the Pureland Assembly, because Pureland is still new to Korea. The Korean Buddhism, because of the previous, where the promoters of the monk promoters of Korean Buddhism, they put a lot of emphasis on the Hua-to, okay, and they have very little Pure Land. But now they're switching to Pure Land because they're finding out that the Hua-to is really not appropriate for our times, and many of their followers are actually going into Pure Land, reciting Buddha's name. And so, even so, there are fewer people coming to our Pure Land Assembly than the China Assembly. We took a photo here because this is the head of the Bhikshuni Association, okay? And this is, okay. Okay, and then we also went to Jeju Island, which is a southern tip of the country, of the peninsula, and it's an area where it's a resort, so it's quite nice area, very warm weather, humid, and we went to a museum, the museum where they have an exhibit of light show of Chagall artists. So they use these projectors throughout the museum. The bunker is in a bunker form, and they project these slides shows onto the walls, on all the walls of the museum. It's kind of cool. They do this a lot in Europe, I believe. So quite interesting. And then we went to Gamgang Sunim's temple for Duo Dharma Assembly. And a lot of our Chinese disciples and students came to the island, and they were visiting around. They were playing tourists, and it's a volcano. So a lot of these actually is from the local rocks. They will make statues and sculptures out of these volcanic rocks. So many of them brought their own family to children, and so we stayed at Gamgang Sunim's temple for 3 days to do a short 3-day chanchi, and during breaks, they would go around and play tourists. This is every day would have 2 lectures, one in the morning, one in the evening, and this is the Buddha Hall of Gamgang Sunim's temple, Wangmyong Sonwon temple. All right, it's a big temple, about 4 floors, 5 floors or so. But again, the Buddha Hall is kind of small. Buddha Hall is smaller than ours. Wouldn't you say so, Xin? 108 Pyong is smaller than this Buddha Hall, slightly smaller. Okay, and this you cannot see here. What's interesting here is the abbot of the temple. He is a part of Gamgang Sunim's foundation, so he's in charge of the temple here, and he was listening to every single Dharma talk I have. Okay. And they are practicing meditation. Who is this with the thing over the head? They're not our people, right? Because when you meditate, you don't want to cover your head like this. Okay? Our people know better. All right. Meditation, you just simply want to dress warm upstairs and cover your legs. Okay, to avoid arthritis in the future. But most of the time, you have a small group of people who would practice chant vigorously. Most of the time, most people would show up and they would fill up the Buddha Hall, which is about 100 people, every single lecture. So it's like they like to listen to the Dharma talk. They don't want to sit too much. And it's a beautiful beaches and restaurants. And kids enjoy themselves. And Korean tradition, they are into tea, so they have a tea room here. And this is when our Chinese group, Chinese visitors, about close to 20 Chinese people came to visit the island. It's a nice place because Chinese people do not need a visa to get into Korea, into the Jeju Island. They would need a visa if they visit the mainland, the main Korean peninsula. But this island here, they don't need any visa. So it's nice to like a short break for the Chinese. And so quite a few Chinese showed up. And the abbot, so we had a tea here and a tea talk for the Chinese alone, okay? And this is our old abbot here, speaking to our Chinese group, our Chinese visitors. And they seem to be happy. And more photos of the beaches, the trees, and the landscaping.
Yeah, so about 100, I was told that there was close to 100 people registered. So there are different programs going on for the ones who never attend our events. Venerable Shenhan has a lighter schedule for them where they could go out and walk. And then also for the Chinese visitors, Venerable Shenfa also take them out for sightseeing.
Okay, so
some people are takes time sitting in the Buddha Hall, some are spread out and doing different activities over there.
So pretty open, very flexible program for everyone. Okay, our people work very hard, and the K people are very hospitable. So they're very friendly and take good care of our visitors, and they really take them around. Okay, more photos. This is the abbot here, and this is the abbot giving blessings to his relics. And what is this?
That's at the airport?
Oh yeah, the airport. Yeah, Jeju Island Airport. On our way back. And we went back to Jewel Kong. This is the second floor, our second floor. The kitchen is second floor there. And this Buddha Hall on the 5th floor we release, it's leased. The 2nd floor we own it. This is the staff meeting at Jewel Conk, where we discuss we have discussions on how about our cultivation, our operations in general. Okay. And who is this? Oh, yeah. And now we also paid a visit to the 3rd biggest temple in Seoul, Gyeosangsa. And we met with the abbot there. He's very compassionate. He gave us personally gave us a tour. His temple is quite big. They have about the Korean system. They separate monks from nuns, unlike us. And so this is a monk's temple. They don't mix. And so he had each monk would have their own hut with, it's quite comfortable, their own small unit where they have bathroom and everything. And so we offered us tea here and talked to him. And this is, I don't recognize this. What is this? His Buddha Hall?
I think that's the Buddha Hall.
That's their Buddha Hall?
Right.
And this is the new hall that this abbot built himself. He said he built this Chan and lecture hall something like 10 years ago. He just came out from retreat for like 10 years. He had a 10-year retreat. He just came out about a month ago, and he resumed he used to be abbot, and then he went to retreat as per his master's recommendation. And then he came out and he resumed his duties as abbot. Okay, it's a big and nice temple. And this is in front of that Dharma hall that he built. And guess what this is? He asked me what his statue is. And I said, it looks like a Christian Wan Yin. It's a one Christian style. Can we focus in here? No, we can't. And these are the group of people who followed us to visit the temple. Okay, and then luck has it that they had a Buddhist exhibit at Ho Am Art Museum. This is a museum that is sponsored by Samsung. Okay, it's a gorgeous building. And very elaborate. The landscaping is exquisite. You look at this beautiful tree here, and the stones here. This is what's the image in here? You remember?
Kind of a god.
This is a stupa. This is a stupa for this is these. It's actually quite big, and so look at this pine tree here. How big it is! This is very, very expensive. The Koreans love pine trees, and this is a gorgeous pine tree. And this is inside the museum. They spent about $3 million borrowing Buddhist arts from all over. Okay, and some statues, these are smaller statues, and mostly scroll paintings, very old paintings. And what is this?
This is a robe.
Oh, the robe,
Yeah.
the monks' sash.
Sash, right?
It's a sash.
A sash.
Yeah, a real sash, real life sash. Okay, and this is when Venerable Abbot, the old abbot, showed his true self, Huang Fei Hong. Do we have that video thing? We can share it with you. And we all had a good time. It's a beautiful, beautiful view. Oh, look at this. This is the Korean culture. The landscaping is just outstanding. It's so much space. Is there a view second floor? Okay. This is second floor here. Okay, from there you look out.
That's not second floor.
To the mountain here. So I believe this is a lake, and there's a mountain here where they have cherry blossoms on the mountain. It's just gorgeous, so beautiful, and it looks natural. That's the Korean landscaping is more natural looking than the Japanese Zen garden style. Okay, it's much wider space, much more natural, and natural looking trees, whereas the Zen gardens are more artificially arranged. Okay, so it lacks, it's manicured, if you will. Okay. As I learn more about the Korean culture, I prefer the Korean gardens over the Zen gardens. Okay, it's so beautiful, and Korea is very, very packed. So they keep on building high rises of apartments. So it's very rare to find a museum where they have acres upon acres upon acres of land. It's just gorgeous. Okay, and then we went to the Tanhill Museum for the one weekend to do again. One day is Chan, one day is Pureland. And so we rented this place. There's one hall here, and it's quite big. It's maybe 50% bigger than our Buddha hall here. It's about 50% bigger. 60% bigger. The width is it's just slightly bigger, and the depth is about 50% to 60% bigger. Anyway, so again, very unusual to find a space like that, and they complain when our people showed up at this place. They complain that the qi is so bad. Okay. But when I showed up for the 2 days there, we had no problems. So it tells you that wherever we go, our Dharma protectors really take over and pacify the place. Okay, it has won some sort of architectural awards. It's quite nice. You notice here, there's some natural light here coming from above. Okay. And above here is a Buddha hall. Okay, down here is that hall thing for lectures, for whatever, all purpose. Okay, and for our needs, The typical Korean Buddha hall, which is 108 pyong, okay, as they prefer to do it that size, is too small for us. When we do a Dharma assembly for Pureland, we need space for you to circumambulate. Okay, when it's too packed, it's not comfortable. Okay, it's not good. It feels too narrow. Okay, so in the future, we're hoping to look for another permanent place in Korea, because we have so many more people coming. We expect many more coming as well, and so we need that Buddha hall to be bigger. And the difference here, this is a different weekend. Different here, I let the local Koreans conduct the ceremonies, and as expected, they are very, very good. And they could chant, they could keep the beat, okay? And I'm impressed. They are quite talented. So that's what I hope, that we will bring our ceremonies to a next level by the end of the year. The way I look at ceremonies is different from the traditional Chinese, Vietnamese, or whatever, the other traditions. What I find lacking in all other temples is concentration when you do ceremonies. Typically, the Chinese, Taiwanese would go for music, for melodies. I go for concentration or samadhi level first, as it used to be the case. In the older times, that's what you do first. The Waynos and these people in front here, they have very good samadhi, have good concentration, and that's used to be the standards for ceremonies. It's not the case anymore, because the monks and nuns do not receive training in concentration in samadhis anymore. So we aim to restore that and bring up the standards for ceremony. So for example, I'm pleased for today, for example, the samadhi is good for the people who are up here, but the ceremony skills are about a D, okay? Samadhi is about a B, average, yeah, maybe B minus. Okay, but the skills-wise, it's about a D, because there's still a lot that could be improved. And so we're going to raise the standards, I promise you. By year end, wherever I go, I expect much better standards. I expect at least an A minus. You hear me? If they don't have it locally, I bring my own people. Wherever I go, it's my standards. Okay? And so far I ignored it because I'm more concerned about building up your concentration, your samadhi levels, all of you. But now that you are there, many of you are there already. For example, these two here, this is a 4A, 4th stage Arhat. This is a 3rd stage Arhat here. Name a temple that would have such people on the front. For us, they're pretty low, but it's pretty decent. Okay, so this one is coming here next. We have one nun that's coming in a few weeks, and then this one will be coming next. Okay. And that's why I need more manpower, more competent people. For example, today's Wayno. I need you to fix this. The notes are continuous, so therefore it's very difficult to know where to hit the woodfish. Okay? At least after every single note have a slight pause or reduce the tone a little bit so that it's a clear lineation from note to note to note to note, like you play the piano. You hit one note and then you lift up, you hit the next note. Okay, so there's a clear delineation. So there's a break of the sound, hit and lift up and hit next. So like this, you see? So there's a clear distinction of sounds. So you slur them. Every single, you slur, I mean, the samadhi is there, but your sound is continuous. There's no clear delineation. And plus, he needs someone, or you Chinese people need to fix the U sound for him, okay? And the Vietnamese have the same problem, the U sound, and they picked up the bad habit from the XR, chuan. There's no chuan sound in Chinese. It's chuan. I keep on correcting Venerable XZ, these Koreans, but they don't seem to remember. Okay, so mark those your booklets so that you pronounce them properly. Just minimal things. It shows, shall we say, culture. Don't be such peasants. Okay? So anyway, we're going to get there one of these days. And again, wherever I go, I do expect better, higher levels, higher standards of ceremonies. All right? By year end, I give you time. But so, and photo op for the 6th Patriarch Sutra. Okay, this is happened on Sunday, Dharma, Pureland Dharma Assembly. It's all our people, okay? And a few newcomers. Circumambulation. This is not posing. They really are having a good time. They really look happy. Okay? And of course, very Korean thing here. You can tell this is pizza, and this is a yellow thing here is not olive oil. Believe it or not, it is honey. The Koreans eat honey with pizza. Actually, not bad, but it's something I'm still not quite used to. This is outside of the museum, Hoa Museum. I like that museum. I'd like to come back there. Okay, and what is this? Our temple?
Right, at JC.
Oh, JC, okay. So we have JC here, and we almost went to this pizza place here. More photos of the beach at Jeju Island. Okay. The end. Yeah. Questions and comments? Yes. Go ahead.
There's a YouTube question from Samson Lau. Good morning, Master. A few weeks ago, you gave a Pureland lecture in Korea.
Yes.
Towards the end, you shared that Amitabha Buddha had a list of people that will go to the Pureland. Could you share more details about this list and how we can get on this list? Is it through the Buddha recitation samadhi? Also, you ran out of time during that lecture. But what are some ways to help others get on that list?
Okay.
Is there a methodology aside from the 49-day service?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Good question. Unfortunately, we ran out of time too today. Okay, I rambled too much today. So can we postpone that question to the next chance? Okay, what's the second question? It's too long. That's it? Okay. Because I don't want to get started and then people ask more questions. And we need to take a break and come back and do the lunch offering. Okay, thank you everyone.